everyone, and welcome to another episode of Space Snacks, where we get interesting people live on Facebook chatting with me, your host, Dr. Cyan Proctor. And today is no exception. We have Makiah Eustice. Hi, Makiah. Can you see me?
I can't see you.
Yeah. Hi. So I am talking to Makiah Eustice, who is an aerospace engineer, recent graduate, and is an Air Force officer. And tell us a little bit about where you went to school and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I went to Texas A&M University, College Station, and yeah, I did studied aerospace engineering during that time, and I did some research in materials. Um, but right now, yeah, I'm in Georgia, Robins Air Force Base, working as an engineer on the C-5.
Ah, the C-5, big plane.
Fred, yeah.
That's got to be pretty cool and pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting because of, it's the largest cargo aircraft we have, and it's very old too. So you have a lot of unique challenges and opportunities when trying to work with the aircraft.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I love the earrings. You've got the moon, star and moon earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so pretty. And your shirt. You've got a
Yes.
space shirt going on
Gotta
with the
represent
shuttle and
NASA, of
it
course.
represent. I love it. And so, has space always been a part of your world?
Uh, no, it actually hasn't been. I'd say maybe junior year of high school. So if I'm trying to think, if that was 2012 or something like that. That's when I actually started to get into space. So I really missed all of the space shuttle stuff, but it was kind of more with the growing commercial sector when I actually like really heard about it and got excited.
And so, I guess when you're thinking about 2012, when you're a junior year, were you already into the military and have that military path that you wanted to go? Or did that come after you kind of decided, well, I kind of like space? Military might be a cool way to get into it.
Yeah, they came. The military side kind of came in college when after I joined the Corps of Cadets, which is
Mhm.
basically a military style disciplined organization for leadership development. And I wasn't planning on going that path. I thought I was just going to go to NASA or SpaceX, but it was kind of a mix of realizing I wanted to become an astronaut one day, wanting to serve and be a part of something bigger. So it kind of looked like a promising path to pursue.
Yeah, that sounds great. You know, when I was your age, I wanted to go into the military. And ideally, I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy. And I was in the Civil Air Patrol. So, and that was when I was a teenager. And really, even looking back, that's one of the things where I still wish I would have gone for it. But I wanted to be a fighter pilot. And then back in the 80s, you couldn't fly if you got glasses. And unfortunately, that kind of derailed that. And so, yeah. One of the things that I want to know about you is what type of explorer are you? Now, you just mentioned that you want to be an astronaut. Do you still want to be an astronaut?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And,
We're both gonna be astronauts.
huh?
We're both gonna be astronauts.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So, where would you want to explore if you're an astronaut? Would you want to go to the International Space Station, Moon, Mars, Earth? Where are you the biggest type of you see yourself exploring in the future?
That's kind of hard because I'd love to. I mean, I would love to go to Mars one day. Um, I think it's just the unknown, of having humans there. I would like the opportunity to come back though.
So, not
I,
one way. You're not going and not and staying.
Yeah, if the plan, it has to be that we're coming back, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I think I'd love to go to the moon too, and of course the view of the Earth, and um, of course it's not that far away, so there's a lot more you um, can do and plan for, and maybe
And
risk.
better chance of coming home.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is always nice.
I can
I'm a
wave to
total
my parents from the moon.
exactly. They can look up and see you and be like, "Yeah, Makiah's there somewhere hanging out on the moon." And so, are your parents big into space?
Um, they're fans of me, so I guess they haven't, not necessarily, but like they love hearing about what I do and learning things. And I said I promised my dad I'd give him a trip around the moon,
Oh,
eventually.
oh.
I'm slowly working on that. You know, that's a big goal.
That's a fantastic goal, and big goals is what we want to have, right? The Do you have a favorite food if you were going to be on the moon or Mars? Is there something that you'd want to eat in particular?
Um, let's see. I would love, honestly, like anything with like curry or like, you know, very spicy dishes and stuff. You know, I'd love to have, you know, like really good Indian cuisine. Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
now,
that'd be hard to deal without.
yeah, for those of you out there that are listening, Makiah and I lived in the high seas habitat for the Sensoria mission for 2 weeks. And so I know you're a vegetarian, right?
Well,
And
mostly, yeah,
huh?
mostly vegetarian.
You eat fish
Yeah, I eat eggs and most seafood. Yeah.
and most seafood. And so but you and your parents, especially your dad, likes to ferment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Fermented foods. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Um, yeah, I mean, he's kind of just started it as like a hobby, and then now he's obsessed with it, and it's like everything. It's life, right? But what's one of my favorite? I think he started with like sauerkraut, um, and that was like amazing, like something like essential on the dinner table, pretty much. And then oh, what's the other one where it's usually like other vegetables like carrots and stuff, and it's really spicy.
Oh, you're asking me?
Oh, well,
I know
I
the
brought some of it.
oh kimchi.
Kimchi, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You
Kimchi.
brought some into the habitat, and that's why I wanted to mention that, and which was really good. Now, now you don't live near your parents anymore, or do you ask them to send you like the care package? Dad, pack me up some fermented foods and send them my way.
I don't know how that would fare um, over shipping. So maybe I'm a little scared to ask because I don't want to open it and it's like everywhere.
Oh yeah,
But maybe it's worth the risk. I don't know.
I think so. If
Like,
Amazon can deliver that, things in glass, I'm sure that your dad can pack it all in nice and good so that it doesn't get broken. It's or well, you never know with the delivery person. We've seen videos of them just throwing packages around.
yeah. Like, Dad, just pack it really, really nice, please.
If you're listening, Dad, a care package. And so, do you do any of that type of cooking? Are you a cook? Are you a baker? Are you a takeout person?
Um, it's kind of hard to answer like now with the quarantine and everything. I'm actually cooking a little bit less than I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because since I the time scale of like, okay, I'm always gonna be here, and I had to think about 3 meals, or usually it's now it's 2 meals. Like I'd rather just put ramen together. Um, but like yesterday, I had like salmon. Like I made baked salmon and rice and everything. So I know how to do like essential stuff and explore a little bit. Um, but it does sometimes take energy, like mental energy, to bake and cook.
It sure does. And sometimes that, it's nice to have something that's really easy, like a ramen or something that you can just throw in. Um, and I had Tanya Harrison on, and she was talking about her love of ramen in any form, anytime, any day. Do you have a favorite food that's a go-to that you just love to eat? I know you talked about Indian food on the moon and Mars, but just at home, you've got is there a go-to dish for you
Besides ramen, um,
besides ramen?
of course, ramen's like the easiest to put together. If I actually one thing that like gives me energy to make usually, like I say, like it takes energy, but like I really love putting together is our tacos.
Oh,
I love getting tacos together because it's like you
no.
put the sauteed veggies, and I'm a go-to dish for me usually at home is like sauteed vegetables and tofu.
Hmm.
So I love sauteing veggies together and then just throw in a bunch of cheese and maybe some shrimp or some veggie crumble stuff, and then you get your flour tortillas, and it's just all nice.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Love it.
I'm gonna say when I come to visit, I'm gonna ask for that on the menu, please. Although
Well,
I'm
it
gonna
is Taco Tuesday, right? So
have
I think I might make some tacos today.
yeah, Taco Tuesday. I love it. Although I'm gonna need the corn taco shells because I need the crunch.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Maybe for you, I'll get those.
You'll make the exception. So if you're gonna have a nice meal on the moon or Mars, who do you want to eating that with you? Who would you want to be have that experience with?
Hmm. Probably, I mean, like, honestly, our crew, maybe, because we had such great, like, mealtime, like, cohesion and, fun and support and everything. So I really like the crew that we had um, at High Seas. And there's tons of, like, other um, classmates and colleagues that, we would just have a blast just looking out the window and eating and drinking tea and everything.
Yeah, it's funny to think about the people who you've connected with already in the short period of time, since I'm twice as old as you, in your short period of time so far on our wonderful planet. But one of the things that I loved was going into the Sensoria mission and the two of us being there together. This is one of my favorite photos. I have it on my phone
So
because I
great.
just love it. It's you coming in as the youngest, me as the oldest, both of us, Black females, and we did not coordinate this, people. We both brought space bears. So, what are the chances of us having our space bears in the high seas habitat together?
We're on the same wavelength.
It's so true. But that whole idea of the people who you've connected with already and wanting to go on a journey together with them. And
Hmm.
I think that that's special. And for the people who have never done an analog mission, it really does bond you in a way that you never would expect. And so that experience, that shared experience, those shared memories.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite moment from our high seas mission?
Um, probably probably the dance parties.
Yes, the dance parties.
Those were like, of course, like when it was like, okay, that sounds all right, silly or whatever. But then it's like, we need this. This is fun.
And I loved it because you also love to DJ up some good music. And so that's
Oh
always
yeah.
fun. to hear what people want to listen to and get into the groove. And I think that along with food, music is something that really brings people together. And I really want to take a moment to show something. You brought a unique instrument into the high seas habitat
Yes,
and
I
shared
have it
music
here.
with
If you
us.
want, I have my mountain dulcimer.
That's awesome. Can you just take a moment and explain to people what that is?
Yeah, so it's a four string, or I guess two, with two twin strings. More of like a full bluegrass instrument, also called the Appalachian. There it is, Appalachian dulcimer. Um, and yeah, I picked it up from my dad. He's watching. Hey, it's your first dulcimer. Um, yeah, so I play that.
Yeah, you played for us, and it was such a great moment in the habitat to hear you share a song that you wrote, an original that you were working on, and so
Yeah,
that was
I
really
started
fun.
it the first day we were at the ranch, or like before the mission, um, and then I was able to actually finish it. I think in 10 days or something like that, and I'd get it to a tune. Um, so that was super fun.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely one of the highlights from our mission. And so thinking about music and food, parties, do you like to throw parties and space themed parties?
I haven't yet. I would love to host a party. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'd be a good co-host, so I would help put it together. Um, but I do would like to use my space to share and entertain people and have a good time. But I'm not
Well,
there yet.
my understanding though, because I saw video, you had a big blowout space party. You didn't organize it, but somebody else did. Yes. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my family, specifically my mom and my cousin, organized a huge surprise party for me, and they told me it was just gonna be like a little dinner or something, and they took me to a hangar, like a museum, before because I was gonna get a special tour, and there they were, like all blown out, between like like a Spitfire and like a Tomcat, and like it was absolutely insane. Like, so my family was there. They had like amazing cake. They had a video. You were in the video while you were what on like
The
in the
Joining
middle.
Resolution. I filmed it from the JR. I got a note saying,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Um, yeah, it was so insane. Like one of my close family friends sang for me. Like I was like in shock the whole time. I've never been surprised like that.
that that's such a wonderful and thoughtful gift, and it's not every day that you say, yeah, between the Spitfire and the Tomcat, there's all my friends and family celebrating me and my graduation, and so that's such a great thing.
Yeah.
The when you I know that you and your family are really close, and cooking and stuff, did you always kind of help out with your dad and stuff with his initiatives? Was that something that was the entire family involved growing up?
Uh, I guess I was kind of I help out a little bit. Like I'm still maybe shy because it's like they know what they're doing. Or they're cooking, and my mom, she bakes like the best desserts and everything. And
Oh,
oh yeah, we're talking, con pie, sweet potato pie, um, peach cobbler. Oh my gosh, the peach cobbler. Out of
So
this world. I have not. I know I needed to master it someday, but I will just wait for hers.
and so I imagine that that's one of the things. My mom was an amazing cook. And so I think back, one of the things that she taught me to do was make egg rolls. And so I think that's part of the fun with families that love to cook and bake and do things, is that legacy that comes along. And so another thing is my mom and her greens. So now I have a garden and I grow greens, collard and mustard and things like that. And so whenever I cook them up, now that she's passed away, it still is like a part of me, a part of her with me in the kitchen cooking. And so
Yeah,
just, yeah.
I have. I want to show because I recently have bought more greens. I'm starting to build a herb garden a little bit in my on my balcony. But I have this little one thing of I have what is that, romaine lettuce and green onions growing, and maybe better
Oh,
lighting,
that's really great.
and then these carrots. I heard you can eat the carrot leaves, so I'm gonna see how that goes.
Yeah, for those of you that are listening, and one of our crewmates, Aaron, says, "Hi, hey, Makiah," and so, hi, Aaron. Uh, we had a vertical green garden. It's funny because I'll have to see if I can find this picture, but it was one of those things where I know you took care of it and you were really good at measuring the plants and making sure that by the time we got to the end of the mission, we could have this amazing meal to taste. And so, have you always been interested in growing and having your own garden?
Um, yeah, I mean, I we our first house, or I guess the house that my dad grew up in, and had a really big, like, few acres, right? So we had, like the big traditional garden, more like, so I was always outside or helping him out with weeds and everything. Um, so I guess it's kind of good to want to go back to that. And of course, on a mission, it's more about precision, right? So we have limited resources, limited space, and it really was about actually trying to get good data about how their growth, and if this is a efficient way of doing things. Um, but then at the end of the day, it's like it's emotional support to actually have something like green and fresh to eat. Um, which I think that was a good way, like at the end of the mission.
Yeah, I really loved it, and it was, from a psychological standpoint, just the light that was there
Oh
from the
yeah.
vertical garden, and like you said, having that bit of green to be able to see and connect with, and so now, so it sounds like you grew up gardening. I did not, and I have a garden now. I'm amazed that we're getting fruit. Anytime something grows out of it, I'm like, what is this? My husband's really good at watering it. I think my plants would all be dead if I was the only one in charge. And so having that space, now that you've got your apartment, you've moved, you're in Georgia. What has that transition been like? Because you literally moved and then had to go into COVID self isolation. And
Yeah.
so I imagine that just threw everything off, especially when it comes to food and connections and people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was just starting to like try to, go out and, make friends and see kind of what the town has to offer. And now it's like, nope. Just stay home and watch more Netflix
And
and
watch more
stuff.
Netflix. And are you
But
talking to your plants? Do I have to be worried that you sitting there in the corner with your plants chatting it up?
hey, they make good conversation. They're actually really
They
fun.
do. And our carbon dioxide, they're giving us oxygen. It's a good exchange. I've heard talking to your plants is a good thing.
Yeah. So there's like some good things, like maybe I didn't want this much alone time, but it's also nice. I get to get my place together and kind of focus on taking care of myself right now, which is
You know,
really
that's
good.
good. Hmm. Now, I got to ask you about, we've talked about food and all these things. What do you have a go-to drink? Something that you'd want to take or need or would have to take with you if you went to the moon or Mars?
Hmm. Well, so my good answer is, of course, coffee.
Mhm.
Um, definitely have to have coffee. Um, a secondary would actually probably be tea, and I didn't like. I wouldn't say I didn't like tea before I started doing analog missions, but it was such a there's something about like midday after doing a bunch of work and then like putting on the hot water, and it was something about that like really just, how you say, it kind of just restarted your mood and made things better, that you can't necessarily do with a second or third cup of coffee at noon. You probably
You know,
can't do that.
so you start your day with the coffee and then you transition to the tea. And I'm actually a big tea drinker. I love coffee, but coffee doesn't love me. So I've had to transition more to being a tea drinker. And I have our Sensoria mug here with a nice
Mhm.
green tea in it. Um, and so that's something that you really kind of started getting into in our mission is more tea.
Yeah, well, it was probably started around my first mission, which was at MDRS.
Hmm.
Um, and several people brought different types of tea, which was really cool. Um, and we had a British person too, so always drinking tea, obviously.
Tea
Um,
time. Yep.
it was like, yeah, I'll start the water. I was like, okay.
Do you are you a snacker? Do you like to have snacks during the day?
Uh, it depends. Like now, my schedule's obviously messed up, so um, usually I'll start with coffee, and then an hour or two later I'll eat breakfast.
Mhm.
Um, or if I don't eat breakfast, I might just like get a coffee and like a bar or something. And then I might eat fruit and stuff throughout the day. So a little bit.
The it's funny that you said that you'll start with your coffee and then it's a couple later, then you'll have your breakfast. I typically in the same way to some extent. I don't like to eat the first right when I get up in the morning. I like to have, my cup of tea, settle in, relax a little bit, get some stuff done, and then I'll have my breakfast. Uh,
I like before this, I would love to have like a big breakfast, or like just I breakfast is really my favorite meal of the day. So I really love like making eggs and veggie sausage or pancakes and everything. But now it's like, okay, maybe just have a coffee, start working a little bit, and then and ease into it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Breakfast is it used to be when, and it's funny because thinking back, when I was your age, breakfast was usually my favorite meal. Then it shifted to dinner, but now it tends to shift a little bit more towards lunch. Having my biggest meal in the, but I got to be careful because depending on what I eat, because I love potatoes, it will put me to sleep in the afternoon. So
Yeah, yeah, that's always the thing of trying to balance out when I should eat and when I need another cup of coffee, or when I just need to take a nap.
So I got one last question before we go. Um, Actually, I got two. One of them is, do you have a favorite celestial object? And if so, what is it and why?
Hmm. Um, since I don't know much related to astronomy, but I guess I could say I love the sun the most, because it's kind of why we all can live and exist and stay warm and everything. So I really, Sounds dumb. I love the sun. I say that'd be one of my favorite.
You know, that's funny that you say that because ASU's the Sun Devils. I am a Sun girl. When I moved, I thought I was going to come out here for just a little bit and leave, but I came out and I was like, well, sunshine over 300 days a year. I'm like, I ain't going anywhere. And I know you grew up in Texas, correct?
Hmm.
And so again, a lot of sunlight, the Southwest, and just, yeah, good thing to have every day.
Yeah,
It's so
maybe not like Arizona, but
it's a little hot here now. We're over 100 degrees.
yeah.
Um, just to wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
Um, no, just uh, take care of yourself and donate and help people out when you can and follow guidelines and
Yep.
stay healthy.
Thanks,
Keep it good.
Makiah. And Makiah, is there a social media? Is there a way for people to follow and connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at astro_Eustice and also on Facebook, Astro Eustice.
Yes, I know you're very active on Twitter. It's one, and that's how we connected. Wasn't
Yes,
it Twitter?
it's like
Yes.
3 years ago. Is it 3 years
Yes.
ago now?
There is a social media connection, space connection right there, people. And
Success
so,
story.
hey, Makiah, thanks for coming on, and you have an awesome day. And thanks to everybody who came in and tuned in. I see John's there, John Conafe, Aaron Bonilla, Carrie, Julio, Davi, I believe. Thanks for joining in, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.